on your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Because this is a proud damn state.
Streaming live from HitThatLine.com.
You can actually feel Razorback Stadium shaking underneath our feet right now.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Get your celebration on. The Razorbacks take a bite out of the Baylor Bears.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Oh, it's been an exciting morning already here on these very airwaves. Yeah, we might have to put a 7-second delay for the rest of the morning rush. Get Greeny on for his new time slot. First day without Lebitard leading. What are we going to do without the Lebitard lead-in these days, guys?
Take a deep breath.
I don't know. I guess we'll just continue doing what we've been doing. And a beautiful Tuesday across the natural state here on Halftime. Good to be with you as always, Phil Elson, along with Matt Smackdown Jenkins, Matty T. We have a packed show today, which includes 3 guests jammed into this 2-hour program. Nikki Chavanelle from Rivals will join us for her usual Tuesday morning hit. We'll be talking with Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports at the top of the second hour. Dodd had broken the story that kind of has everybody up in arms today across Razorback land because of the interest of the Texas Longhorns and defensive coordinator Barry Odom, and amongst a couple of other Arkansas assistant coaches that have either taken a new job elsewhere or are being looked at by other programs. So we'll dive into that, along with the Heisman Trophy ceremony with Dennis Dodd tonight, and John Gasaway from ESPN in the bottom of hour number 2. He's, of course, one of the great basketball writers covering the college game at ESPN. SEC does get back into basketball tonight. There are 3 SEC games in the offing: Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Florida, and Alabama. Alabama, by the way, coming off, I guess you'd say, probably the most surprising outcome for an SEC game so far with their win in Knoxville over Tennessee. Maybe that gives a little hope to the Razorbacks who have to travel to Knoxville. Well, I'll assume that the team is traveling today to play tomorrow. Missouri and Mississippi State are the late game on the SEC network. Hogs in Tennessee tomorrow at 6 on ESPN2. We carry it at 5:30 with the pregame here on ESPN Arkansas. So we'll dive into that. And of course, also we can get maybe some of the details about what this NCAA basketball tournament is going to look like within the Hoosier State with John Gasaway from ESPN. Plus, your calls and texts for the next couple of hours at 877-377-6963.
That's a loaded Tuesday show right there.
It is like a loaded baked potato, my friend. We've got bacon, we got cheese, we've got butter, we got sour cream, we got chives, and all the fixings that go along with it.
And we're twice baked.
Well said, Matt. Very well said. It's also
Twice,
national,
one for each hour.
That's right.
It's also National Whipped Cream Day, which leads me to remind you that has become my favorite nervous moment food for a sporting event that I'm watching on TV. That's what I know. Ty sent me a text this morning reminding me it's National Whipped Cream Day, and of course his favorite scene in the history of Hollywood is the Ally Larder whipped cream bikini scene
in Blues.
In Varsity Blues, right?
He was so proud this morning.
It's not usually what I think of when I'm thinking of whipped cream. I'm thinking of just a normal dessert topping, and yes, say what you want about dessert and a whipped cream bikini, but it's become my go-to for a nervous moment, like when it's the biggest play of the game, or when it looks like Arkansas might give up what was a big lead, or when I need to calm myself down and I'm watching a big sporting event, like when I'm watching the Steelers and Browns Sunday night in the wild card matchup. I'm going to need a couple cans of whipped cream with me. That's my nervous food. It's not. I do the peanut M&M thing during baseball season.
Sure.
Whipped cream is my television sports nervous moment food. So I'm happy to celebrate whipped cream today.
Love whipped cream, but I don't. You bring up a good like nervous food. Like I'm trying to. I'm trying to think of like what my nervous food would like.
Yeah, we all have something that you go to when you need something to calm yourself down.
I'd probably say chocolate. Jenkins, you're not much of a chocolate guy.
The only chocolate I'll go for is probably like Reese Cups or Kit Kats.
Reese Cups.
Reese's Cups, same damn difference.
We had some whipped cream on hot chocolate over the weekend.
That sounds really good. My mind immediately goes to Doritos. I don't know
there
why.
You go. That's a good one. I
don't know.
Yeah, some of those salty, crunchy things, those are kind of nervous eating.
Like something that you can eat in a nervous way. You need something that's crunchy, it sounds like.
We did a Super Bowl party. This was back in college, and I think it was one of the Patriots Super Bowls. But, like, I couldn't stop eating pizza rolls. And I don't know why.
Nervous food. It's like a popper.
It's a popper. I mean, it wasn't like a slice of pizza. I just had a bowl of it and a little side cup of ranch with it. And I was just going to town on these pizza rolls.
Have you tried pizza rolls in your air fryer?
Yes.
That's game changer.
The air fryer in general is just game changer, period.
It really is. And by the way, I mean, I don't just pop whipped cream when I'm nervous for it. I just turn the thing upside down, open my gullet, and
are you talking
pour as much in as I possibly can.
Like the Cool Whip in the bucket, or do
no,
you
the nitrous oxide?
No, the nitrous oxide.
Yeah, the whipped cream that you actually have to push with the little nozzle on the top. That's the one I'm talking about.
So you just like turned the can up and squirt it in your mouth?
That's exactly right.
My man. Yes, sir.
So we did have an awkward moment at the end of the show yesterday. I felt didn't it feel awkward?
It really
First
did.
of all, I was happy that the Burlesworth ceremony was going a little early. They said they were going about 7 minutes early on their script so that they could announce the winner instead of right after the show ended, just before the show ended. So we were able to carry the announcement live, and it felt so awkward. Like, I think we all were going by the assumption,
that's fixed to be Grant Morgan,
myself included, that it was going to be Grant Morgan. I mean, I've been riding that train for the last month and a half, and then to hear Jimmy Morrissey's name from Pitt mentioned, and then to hear the Pitt fight song, which I know very well, right after that, just felt awkward. And look, I don't think you can argue with a 4-year starter that walked onto a major program and beat out a bunch of scholarship players to be a 4-year starter at center. Also for an award that's named after an offensive lineman. But I have a really tough time, I think most of us do, of accepting the thought that a player that tied for the national lead in tackles per game at a position where that is incredibly important and did most of that with about one arm does not win the award. So I share in your disappointment while at the same time trying to keep the idea that offensive linemen don't have stats. This guy Morrissey is going to be one of the earlier picked centers in the draft this upcoming year, and he was a walk-on. That's very much like the Brandon Burlesworth story. So
it was definitely an awkward way to end it yesterday. I mean, you labeled it perfectly. I think everybody and their mother just knew that it was Grant Morgan's award to lose. But we're all homers about this thing, but all three of those guys were rightfully deserving in their own particular way. I'd be curious to know, Clay mentioned it this morning on the Morning Rush, but I'd be curious to know when the votes were cast, because I talked to my dad after that, and he said, how did he not get that thing? And in my mind, I'm just curious, does him returning for another year change the minds of anybody?
Well, it at least gives you a salve for the disappointment, because coming back next year, like, he should be a front runner for
exactly.
That.
Oh, absolutely. And Tom made the joke this morning. Said we kind of compared it to Darren McFadden when he was the runner up for the Heisman. Well, heck, he's a runner up. He's a leads on favorite, and then look what happens right off the bat. He hurts his foot right before the USC game in that little incident. Not to say, and Grant Morgan, that's not, but I am not in all drawing the same line with Grant Morgan at all. But that's what it's just it's the luck of Arkansas in a sense, in a way. But good for Jimmy Morrissey. It is what it is.
And I feel like do away with the idea of the stats and anything like that. Just the thought that it's an Arkansas-based award and it's named after a Razorback, and you had a Razorback amongst the finalists. I think we all just thought that meant he would win it, and it just doesn't. It doesn't mean that. Can imagine the. I don't know if disappointment's the word necessarily, but just for the Burlesworth family, they have to be elated that a lineman actually won the award that's named for him, while at the same time scratching their head and thinking, Man, we're all Razorback fans. That would have been really cool for one of our own to win this award. Anyway, we do have another award coming up later tonight. It is the Heisman.
Woo!
It is the big one, the one that I consistently poo-poo and say it's just overhyped. But then again, I mean, look, I think the front runner, and Dennis Dodd did run a, kind of an informal straw poll of Heisman voters. It appears to be Smith's trophy to lose, comfortably ahead of Trevor Lawrence on this straw poll, which would mean that would be 2 years in a row that a player that wasn't hyped at all, preseason, talking about the Heisman, doesn't just become a finalist, but goes on to win the thing. I mean, nobody was talking about Joe Burrow to win a Heisman Award going into the start of last year, and it took a couple of weeks for that to really get going. Devontae Smith, he wasn't even thought about as the top receiver on his team. They lose Jalen Waddle, and all of a sudden Devontae Smith is the top option. Boom, has the best season in college football.
Doesn't it always seem like it's like that?
Well, in my eyes, just the same with like Mac Jones.
I agree.
For stepping in for Tua last year, and in some cases that is the truth. But to my mind, for an award that just seems to be based on hype so often, I love seeing a player come out of about nowhere to win this award. And Burrow ran away with it last year. I don't know if Smith's going to run away with it at quite the same level, but maybe pretty close. All right, calls and texts, 877-377-6963. Before we go to the break, we'll go to Robert in Fort Smith. Hey, Robert, Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year, guys. Y'all are just disappointed. It's okay because you're homers on that, but that's no big deal. But what I'm calling is, do y'all feel like Arkansas is a little behind in football now, even more, because we didn't play in a bowl game? Ole Miss played in one. Mississippi State played in one, Auburn, and I'm just curious to see what y'all's thoughts are on some of that.
That's a good question. I mean, they still got all of the practices in before the bowl game, so there wasn't the game, but there were the practices that the coaches, view as so valuable going into the offseason. I mean, was it valuable for Auburn to go out and get stomped? Was it valuable for Florida to go out and get stomped when you had all these players opting out and Auburn just not looking very good or like they care and, they're being led by a coach that's not going to be part of the coaching staff next year? That's obviously a different situation than what Arkansas would have dealt with. I think it just would have reflected much better to go into the offseason with a win, or at least not a blowout loss to Alabama. So, they got the practices. And I think the payoff for practice is supposed to be a game. That didn't happen. I wouldn't say that not playing the game leaves them behind programs like Auburn or Ole Miss or anything like that. Not being invited to a bowl game, not getting the practices, then you're probably behind a little bit. Hopefully we get spring practice. I don't think you can deal with not having spring practice 2 years in a row. All right, quick break. We will come back. Who's leaving the Arkansas football coaching staff? Who can you last afford to lose off this coaching staff? Get us your ideas, 877-377-6963. Right back with you on this Tuesday.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
Your home for every Razorback football game.
College to midfield, the 40, the 30, college at the 20, to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Arkansas!
As you can tell, this means a lot,
Only on ESPN 95.3.
Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery.
Craft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18-month same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland.
I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fitzman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fitzman can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fitzman can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fitzman and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fitzman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fitzman can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fitzman can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fitzman and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fitzman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fitzman can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fitzman can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fitzman.
for South Carolina, it's not a slap in the Razorbacks' face. The guy's moving home to the program that he grew up rooting for. It's understandable, but it is a loss for the program. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And you have Kenny Guyton coming in, apparently, which to me means Kendall Briles isn't going anywhere. And I haven't read about him being pursued by any other programs either. But if you do lose Barry Odom, and, man, I mean, when we talked to Dennis Dodd about this in about 40 minutes, you remember the calls that we would get after Arkansas beats Mississippi State and after the win against Ole Miss? You were talking about building statues for Barry Odom, talking about him being a Broyles Award winner, and more than anything, this was the thing that I took from it, hoping he does not get hired away by another program. I know some folks thought, well, maybe he'd get a look at as a head coach somewhere else. The more realistic option right now is to be looked at as a defensive coordinator by a program that has deeper pockets than Arkansas. And there aren't all that many of them, but the two programs that are being talked about do in Texas and LSU. You lose Odom, maybe you lose Sam Carter, who came with him. And Sam Carter, I think, is the best position coach on this team. I'm really impressed with the work with the defensive backs. So it could end up, you could end up losing both of them, but you lose Odom, that's a big one. That's a big hurt.
There's a lot that you can unpack with this and how you want to tackle this. I mean, obviously, there's a big difference in the job between Texas and Arkansas. Where Arkansas, I mean, more or less, unless there's something, Tom mentioned it this morning, unless something drastic happens, Sam Pittman's probably guaranteed at least 5 years. Unless if a Bobby Petrino incident happens or the sky comes, I mean, whatever. And if Barry Odom stays here, you're pretty much guaranteed 5 years.
Pittman doesn't ride a motorcycle, does he?
No, God, I hope
Thank
not.
God.
I hope
Please
not.
keep him off of motors. I think he's more of a happily married man, too.
Good.
Or you go to Texas where you're constantly under the microscope because you never know how long you'll last there. I mean, oh, God, I just blanked on former Texas coach Todd Herman. I mean, he didn't do a bad job at Texas. He was winning, and he had a decent recruiting classes coming in and everything about it, and he still got canned for it. The same as Gus Malzahn. You're always under the microscope with that. So you move to Texas, you pack up, you move the family and everything about it. Who's to say you're not guaranteed 2 years before Sarkisian's like, you know what, we're going in a different direction, and Odom gets a short end of the stick versus he stays here. There's a lot that you can unpack with this. Also, you can look at it from the family perspective where his boys just won a state championship at Shiloh Christian, packing up and moving the family, and there's so many different avenues of why he should probably make the move and go to Texas or why he shouldn't make the move and stay here with Arkansas. And but yes, if worse came to worse and it was Barry Odom, that's a big blow for this team. And then comes in the question, who do you get next? Because that's what will determine how good Sam Pittman can coach. Obviously, we've seen the fruits of put in during the offseason. But the second hire that he makes, that's going to prove how good he could possibly be. And I think he's well liked enough that he'll have pretty top-notch, solid defensive coordinators give him a holler. I think Will Muschamp comes to mind. Kevin Steele comes to mind if it gets to that point.
Well, I mean, look, they've already raised Odom's salary because there was another SEC program or two that came after him before this season, back in the pre-pandemic days. So they've already upped his salary once. And look, I mean, we make fun of Texas for good reason. You know, it's for every time that Texas will tell you that they're back and for all the cuteness about horns down and all that kind of stuff. It's still one of the programs across the country that you have a spotlight on you in ways that most programs don't. That's a springboard to a head coaching job if you end up doing really well as a coordinator at the University of Texas. Not to say that you can't do the same thing from Arkansas, but I guess there's something to be said about being successful at Texas compared to almost anywhere else. And I feel like Sam Pittman has done such a great recruiting job with his own players already. He's got this great friendship and relationship with Barry Odom. And you can't just say, hey, look, we're great friends. I got to keep you here. But the relationship does stand for something. And then a little extra money might help, too. Is that somebody that you want to keep here on staff if you got to raise him by another $500,000, something like that? I don't know. I know Arkansas's got tons of money. They have enough for Texas. Then again, Texas is paying like what, a $25 million payout for Herman?
At the least.
All right, back after the break with Nikki Chavanelle. Get your calls and texts in for Nikki at 877-377-6963. Right back after this.
Hi, friend. It's your home speaking, and I need some favors. Could you turn on some of the lights in the basement? I'm scared of the dark. Also, this one is easy. Could you bundle your home and car insurance with Geico so we could save money? Last thing, just a suggestion. Could you steam clean the carpets? I need a spa day.
Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We can help you out and get you ready for the colder weather ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery for both lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. TGI Fridays is taking your safety seriously, following every guideline. Enjoy Fridays favorites like appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, salads, all the great Fridays, signature entrees, kids meals, and great desserts. TGI Fridays, now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery. Call 479-484-0906. That's 484-0906. Or order online at Fridays.com. Your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers and Fort Smith.
Divorce is never easy. Many times problems continue to arise long after the divorce is over. If you're dealing with a high conflict custody or visitation issue, you need an attorney that handles those specific type of cases. Call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partners for immediate assistance with your situation. Kevin Hickey Law Partners, able to handle high conflict custody cases all over the state of Arkansas and other states. Check out kevinhickeylaw.com or call 479-434-2414 in Fort Smith and 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas.
2021 is finally here, and it's time to do business in a new way. Finding the right business solutions has never been easier when you partner with Pinnacle Telecom. Say goodbye to lagging internet and outdated phone systems, and start new with the tools you need to make your business work for you. Pinpoint your business solutions today and enjoy 30 days free on any new service that you choose. The right business solutions just for you. That's Pinnacle Telecom. Tomorrow's technology today.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Look in my eyes, what do you see?
The quick outlet finds Daniels up the right sideline. Crosses over to the middle, gives back to Slocum, left corner. Dungy for three. Buckets!
Great offense there by Arkansas, getting out in transition. Extra pass from Destiny Slocum to a wide open Chelsea Dungy. Great job.
Need a little bit more halftime in your life? Make sure to download the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. Eastside Liquor in Fort Smith has the best deals in the River Valley on liquor, beer, and wine. Stop by 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith and make sure to check out their Facebook page for weekly specials. The Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is part of the Hit That Line Podcast Network and is available wherever you listen to podcasts, including SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Bottom of the hour of the first hour here on a Tuesday of halftime, which can mean only one thing. We go to Nikki Chavanelle, managing editor of Rivals, covering Arkansas athletics. Nikki, how's everything? First of all, you had the New Year Eve birthday, right? What's it like to celebrate a New Year's Eve birthday?
It's usually pretty good. This year, not that special, but still had a good day.
All right, good. Are we allowed to ask your age, or do you not give that out? I'm turning 44 in 9 days. So. SmackDown's turning 28, so we're going to be open about that. What did you just say?
I turned 26. Maybe in a few years I'll stop telling people.
Okay, that's right. Good. I felt like I was being rude asking, but, we're all friends here, so what's the big deal?
At what point does it get, like, you're old? What point does it get? I'm obviously kidding. Like, at what point, like, I'm excited to turn 28, I guess, but, like, at what point is it just, like, is it 30? Is that just when it kind of just goes over the hill after that?
I think really even 29 is scary.
That's the thing with me. Like, I'm fixing to turn 28, and I've got, like, I'm freaking out because all my friends are doing everything else. I'm like, what the hell am I doing with my life? But
can I be honest with you both here? Like, turning 30 is not the biggest deal in the world. It's not even 40 to be, because 40s are great. I love the 40s. This has been a great 3 years. Maybe 50s. I think maybe that's the time to start.
Okay.
And here's the thing about it. If you're asking me, SmackDown, when to stop asking women what their age is, it's whenever you don't care anymore. It's whenever you feel like you're being rude.
I'm a smart man. I'll never do that just because I don't need a woman coming to swing across on me with a right hand. No, I don't need that.
All right, hey, Nikki, all right, update us on who is being pursued amongst this Arkansas football coaching staff and by whom, and who do you think, aside from Justin Stepp, that they might lose?
Oh, man, it has been a fun, 48 hours since Justin Stepp, he didn't announce it, but the news leaked that he would be going back home to South Carolina, and then we heard that Jameel Walker, the strength and conditioning director, he was actually the assistant director at Georgia, and then Sam Pittman promoted him to the head job here. We heard that he was interviewing at South Carolina yesterday. I don't know how that went, but there are other candidates involved for that job. He did coach at Georgia for that one season that Shane Beamer was there, or I think Shane was there for two, but they coached there together, so they have a connection. But again, I said there are other candidates, so I'm not sure I see Jameel Walker leaving. The players love him, and he signed a 2-year contract with Pittman, who gave him his first head job. So I don't see why he would have any more connection to South Carolina than he does here in Arkansas, but it's probably a nice opportunity for him to get a raise. And then Barry Odom, I had heard from someone that Barry Odom and Sam Carter went on a plane down to Texas after the cancellation of the Texas Bowl, but I didn't think too much of it. I figured, maybe they're just, going home for the new year. I don't know why Barry Odom would be going down there, but Sam Carter is from Houston, but now it seems like he is a top candidate for Steve Sarkisian's coaching staff as defensive coordinator, but don't know, what's going on in their process. I've talked to the guys at Orange Bloods, which is our Texas site, and they don't think that Texas would make any announcements until after the national championship game. But I hope we're not waiting that long to see if Barry Odom is going to stick around.
Gosh, it'd be a week to wait. So, it's obvious if Odom heads over to any other program, That sets you back a bit. I think he's a great defensive coordinator. I would trust Sam Pittman, though, to hire a good coach. I think if you lose Sam Carter, that's a hit because I think he's done great work with the secondary. But how big of a loss to the coaching staff is Justin Stepp? Because he built the best position group on the offensive side, and I think that's saying something considering, the coaching staff he started with.
Yeah, it is certainly a loss. It's not like he's irreplaceable is what I'm trying to say, but definitely a loss and a surprising one because when obviously the South Carolina job opened, I knew he was from South Carolina, but the way that he loves his players, I figured there's no way he's not going to do it. I know how hard of a decision it was for him to leave even SMU when Chad Morris wanted him to come to Arkansas because he didn't want to leave his players. So the only thing, I guess, that made the difference was, it's going home to where he, watched games growing up. But, he's signed the players he was recruiting, so Arkansas has those guys locked in, and I think they all have good enough relationships with Briles and Pittman to be happy enough, although no one's happy that he's gone. But Treylon Burks is going to continue to do Treylon Burks things. So whoever comes in has a really, really nice opportunity to get their first NFL pick in.
Nikki Chavanelle joining us here on Halftime. Nikki, obviously, I think I know the answer to this question, but just kind of curious from your standpoint. If worse came to worse and you was to lose both Barry Odom and we'll just throw Kendall Briles into the mix just for the sake of the question, who's the bigger deal? Who's the bigger loss? Is it Barry Odom or is it losing your offensive coordinator?
So, I mean, the offense is just so important. It feels like, having to install a new system when these guys were already, so far into Briles' system and everything. That would seem like a bigger deal to me. Barry Odom's done a really nice job improving a lot of players, and I feel like he's just expanded their football IQs a lot so that even if a different defensive coordinator came in, they would be in a better position. But at the same time, Sam Pittman has such a good relationship with Barry Odom that you wonder if, there ends up being problems with guys sometimes if they haven't worked together. So it might be someone that Sam Pittman has already worked with, perhaps. But, you worry that with Sam Pittman being the more CEO-type role, if everything continues to go smoothly, if it's not someone he's so close with.
Transitioning out of Razorback football just for a second, we got the Heisman Trophy coming up this evening. Who do you think is going to come home with the Heisman Trophy this evening? Is it going to be a Trevor Lawrence, or do you think it's going to be a Devontae Smith? Because I feel like it's between those two guys at this point. And to me, it's whenever those votes are cast, because Trevor Lawrence didn't look necessarily good in the college football playoff semifinal, whereas Devontae Smith just played like a man possessed as he has all year. What says you? Who's the Heisman Trophy winner tonight?
I mean, maybe I'm biased because I haven't watched as much Trevor Lawrence this season. I've watched quite a bit of Alabama. Devontae Smith is incredible. I would give it to him personally.
Disappointment in Grant Morgan not winning the Burlesworth Award. Is it more because we expected maybe to get homer treatment, or is it because the guy led the nation in tackles per game? And it's difficult to quantify the performance of an offensive lineman based upon statistics. This just made yesterday's announcement so awkward, I think, for most of us.
Right. I do think that maybe some people thought, because he is from Arkansas, like, how can he embody the Burlesworth name more than being the Arkansas walk-on who earned a scholarship and contributed? But the Pitt lineman, I mean, he got a scholarship his redshirt freshman year, started 47 games. If you didn't look at the schools that they played at, you might lean more towards the offensive lineman, because just generally in his whole career, he has contributed more, and he's going to be a top pick at his position. So I understand that Grant Morgan absolutely deserves that award, but so did that other guy.
Before we let you go, you got Arkansas basketball tomorrow evening at Tennessee. Both teams coming off of surprising home losses. I guess more surprising for Tennessee losing at home to Alabama. But you don't put this in must-win category, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see the way that Muss, utilizes whatever rotations to figure out how to replace Justin Smith. And to me, that's the biggest thing I'm looking for tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully with more. I mean, Musselman didn't sound particularly confident after the loss against Missouri, but I think that's a little understandable. But hopefully with more time since then, he's been able to, wizard out some way to create some mismatches against Tennessee. Alabama did a pretty good job against Tennessee the other night, so maybe there are some takeaways from that, although I know he said that the personnel aren't exactly the same. But I think the Arkansas loss was even more surprising than Tennessee losing to Alabama, just because of the way that it happened and how bad the shooting and the finishing was. I hope I never see a game like that again.
I don't think you will. I almost feel like you got to try to shoot 26%. I think it's almost impossible. Hey, last thing, because I just thought of this from watching Muss's Zoom after the loss to Missouri, and you compare that with his Zoom after the win against Auburn. Both of those, and I have to be careful of maybe how I say this because I don't want to make it seem like I'm making fun at all. But he is an incredibly entertaining watch on any sort of press conference, and I think in the Zoom setting, his emotions are even more on display than I think they would be in a personal setting. So let me ask you, what is more entertaining, post-game win Muss or post-game loss Muss?
Unless he's just super non-cooperative, which I think we've only had maybe a couple times. I don't think he's ever really been just totally shutting us down. But I think in a loss, it's just really refreshing to hear from him the way that he talks compared to other coaches who will really just kind of stonewall and not be in a mood to say much. But he'll give us a lesson and break down every single thing that he felt went wrong.
Guy really wears his emotions on his sleeve. I think we can appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And Nikki, we appreciate you too. Thanks again for coming on today. A happy New Year to you. And we'll get back into the routine swing of things here next week.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Nikki Chavanelle, Rivals.com, covering all things Arkansas athletics. Yeah, I mean, after the Auburn game, Muss legit, the first question from Chuck was your reactions, and he starts cheering. I mean, clapping, screaming, go Hogs, all of that.
Win.
You're all feeling the same way. Post-loss to Missouri, I mean, he looked like he was ready to tear his hair out. On camera, too.
Wouldn't you be for the way that loss went down?
I know.
You generate 21 turnovers, and you lose by double digits?
You're never going to see a game like that again.
Hell no. It almost takes talent to do it twice.
Yeah. Hey, Tigers deserve credit for defense. The Razorbacks also missed a ton of wide-open shots, wide-open layups. All right, we'll wrap the first hour up next. Stay with us.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dealing with a CPAP every night? The noise, the constant cleaning. Your wife telling you she can't take the noise anymore. Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea with a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience and has treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call for your appointment today, 785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
Every day, 22 of our heroes take their own life. The effects of military service can be too much.
I'll cover you. I'll cover you. Let's move.
You were ready to fight for them in war.
I got you. I got you.
Are you ready to fight for them now? If you know a veteran that could use a little help, call 1-800-542-1031 today.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-380-4429. 800-380-4429. 800-380-4429. That's 800-380-4429. Paid for by QuickAid.
This is Brett Good, former Razorback and Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. Everyone loves to be on a winning team. That is why I have joined Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions. Henderson Phillips can help you tackle all your employee benefit, health insurance, and staffing management solutions. Plus, I can help you with any commercial or personal insurance need. Come join my team at Henderson Phillips. Call me, Brett Good, at 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Happy New Year from Frank Rowe Furniture. Frank Rowe Furniture thanks all of our customers for your business in 2020. We wish everyone a prosperous new year and may God bless each and every one of you. At Frank Rowe Furniture, we strive to please our customers and carry as many Made in the USA brands as possible. We are family owned and have served the River Valley since 1997. We will be praying that everyone has a blessed new year in 2021. Happy New Year from Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house.
This is ESPN 95.3.
5 to shoot. Sills way out on the floor. Right wing. Deep three. Good from Desi. Wow. Sills has got 16.
Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at Matt Jenkins44. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine.
Back on Halftime to wrap up the first hour here. We do have Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports. In about 12 minutes, we'll get heavy into the chances, perhaps, of Barry Odom leaving Arkansas for Texas. We'll get into the idea of Sark's hire at Texas to begin with.
It's going to be a good conversation with him.
Well, he had South Carolina and Auburn come after him, and he chooses to go outside the league that Nick Saban coaches. And although I know Bama and Texas have a 2-year home-and-home series that I think starts, forget if it's this upcoming season or the season after, but it's sometime in the next 2 years that home-and-home series begins. So they will play against each other, and that'll be more of the Nick Saban versus his former assistant stuff that we always hear about every year.
One thing we hadn't really mentioned with this whole deal was if it gets to that point where Barry Odom does go to Texas, and guess what's going to happen next football season? Texas comes to Arkansas.
Oh, that's right.
And I think that's why when you see so many fans that are just so upset about this move right now, which none of us expected, and if you did, you're crazy, that he's going to be here for the rest of his career.
Well, of course.
I think we all expect. I think we all expect
there'd be at least 2 years.
That's what I think.
The contract out.
And I'm not even necessarily surprised it's been 1 year because look at the turnaround he did. I know when the numbers still aren't great, but look at where they were last year to where they ended this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a coaching job. So, obviously he knows what he's doing. I'm not surprised that he's been looked at after year one. I think it's just it upsets people when it's LSU and Texas, the two biggest rivals of Arkansas, And you add in the fact, because that's what Ty was so bent out of shape about it this morning, because Texas comes to Arkansas next year.
And also, for me, the 3 games you won those because your defense was
absolutely
just really good in those games. But I didn't really finish the season very strongly with that terrible fourth quarter against Missouri, and then, whatever happened against Alabama, that's happened against most teams this year. All right, I'll get into some of this stuff here for basketball in the next hour. We do have a couple of guests in the next hour, and one of those is a basketball specialist, John Gasaway. But SmackDown had done some heavy research to figure out our first Alexander Duma of the new year. SmackDown, take it away.
And I was wondering what Dumas would make of all this. Come again. Alexandre Dumas. He wrote The Three Musketeers.
Are you stupid or something?
Are you stupid?
I don't think so, no.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
Stupid is as stupid does, sir.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.
What was supposed to do, you moron?
Calm down. Have some dip.
Are you crazy or just plain stupid?
Mama says stupid is as stupid does.
So you're a smart man who said some really stupid things.
Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas.
Dumas. You know what that's about?
We're talking about our idiot kicker who got liquored up and ran his mouth off.
You're so stupid!
See if I can get us kicked off 2021, our first Duma of 2021 off on the right foot.
Yeah, get 2021 kicked off in a really stupid way.
Have you ever tried to take anything on the airplane that you weren't necessarily supposed to?
What's the statute of limitations?
Can I take the Fifth Amendment on this?
That's fine. We can plead the Fifth with this one. So I can tell you that I would bet money that you two have never tried to do what this Colombian man tried to do. So a Colombian man was detained in Barcelona after he reportedly tried to smuggle $34,000 worth of cocaine under a poorly fitted toupee.
Well, right there is why I wouldn't do this, because I would never wear a toupee. Never in a million years.
Police said that they caught the man caught their attention when he arrived on the flight from Bogota on June 18th, and he appeared nervous. Officers had the man remove his wig and found a package stuck to his head with about $34,000 worth of cocaine, according to authorities. There is no limit to the inventiveness of drug traffickers trying to mock controls, the Spanish National Police said in a statement, and the man was charged with a public health violation.
Let me describe what he looks like here. He might as well have had like a potato sideways on his head and then just set a toupee on top of the potato.
And the toupee's it's crooked. Like everything about this.
It's not a great toupee.
No.
It looks like a squirrel that didn't get a haircut for 2 years, living on top of his head. So this guy really is a dumbass. So you can't.
Yes.
You can't. I mean, you.
Duma.
Yeah, Duma. I got to make sure I get this done correctly.
Yes.
For one thing, smuggling cocaine onto an airplane is probably a really dumb thing, no matter what it is.
That's checkmark number one.
You're trying to do it.
And that looks like it's more than for personal use too.
Oh, there's a lot that's being used with $34,000 of cocaine. I mean, what is that? It doesn't even look like a Ziploc bag on the picture that I have here.
It looks like a breast implant.
It does. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah. I think maybe it's in like a darker plastic or
maybe
something.
Like
that's why it
vacuum
looks
sealed
so
or something. I don't know.
I'm sure he was incredibly nervous. How could you not? I'm nervous just going into security to begin with, and I've got nothing to hide.
I know.
Now you got to take your shoes off, got to take your belt off, take your jacket off, and everything else. Yeah, I mean, like undressing in front of people I don't know.
Where else could he have hidden that it would have been a better place? Maybe duct tape to his back or something.
Never mind.
I was saying, you don't want to sew that into your underwear.
Well, that was what I was.
Okay,
that's what I was thinking. I mean,
it's a little lumpy. Is that $34,000 worth of cocaine in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Man, and here I was all excited coming back from Canada last week because I could visit the duty-free shop and bring in some liquor duty-free. This is a whole other thing. This is a completely whole other thing. I wouldn't have been able to fit that vodka on my head because I don't wear a toupee and never will.
It's part of me thinks
keep it under your hat.
I mean, he does look nervous getting this picture taken, but like his toupee's crooked. You can't pull the toupee forward a little bit to at least make it look somewhat normal.
I mean, other than that, he's really well dressed. He's got the great sweater vest going. He's got this nice, button-down.
Oh, he's a handsome gentleman.
Yeah, he's a
I disagree because when
he needed an '80s rocker wig would be better.
When you take off that cocaine on the top of his head, look how much he's balding on the top of his. No, heck no.
He looks to me like he could have been the most interesting man in the world, and then goes and does something like this.
Oh man!
Do people still wear toupees? By the way, I thought that we were like. I felt like the male species, the male sex, has begun to lean into baldness a little bit. We've accepted it a little bit more.
Toupees are so 80s.
I'm going to add one more real quick. This comes from JT in Hot Springs. He thought we were going to name Ty the Duma of the week for his healthy eating promise. Which that's a good nomination.
No, I just would say that I'm thankful for Clay Henry from this morning because he called Ty out in a way that I wanted to yesterday, but just didn't quite have the gumption to do it. That was a special moment today in the Morning Rush.
If you're listening to Morning Rush, you got a treat this morning.
And we'll be able to break Clay's balls about that tomorrow, too. Stay with us for the second hour.
River City Bistro for a brunch on the weekends every Saturday and Sunday. River City is open at 10 a.m. with a special brunch menu. Eggs and omelets any way you like. Premium bacon, sausage and ham, waffles, eggs Benedict, and a great drink menu featuring mimosas, Bloody Marys, and all your brunch favorites. We will see you for brunch every Saturday and Sunday, starting at 10 a.m. at River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
They say, trust the process. But if enjoyment isn't part of that process, don't trust the process. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
New Bud Light Seltzer?
Yep.
A hard seltzer with a hint of fruit flavor?
Yep.
Can I try one?
Yep.
That tastes great.
Told you. Bud Light Seltzer. Unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beers. Beer in Texas. St. Louis, Missouri.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Wendy's Baconator is the ultimate bacon cheeseburger that puts all other cheeseburgers to cheeseburger shame. And now we're bringing that same big bacon energy to shake up and wake up your breakfast with the Breakfast Baconator. Stacked with the fresh cracked egg, sausage, cheese, and bacon. And right now, you can get a free Breakfast Baconator with purchase in the Wendy's app. So get to Wendy's and always be baconating. We got you.
Offer available at participating U.S. Wendy's for a limited time during breakfast hours only. Offer must be redeemed via the app. Account registration required.
Here's your chance to really shine and do something great for the whole state. Join the Great Arkansas Cleanup. Volunteers and community organizations will soon be picking up litter along Arkansas's roadways, streams, and shorelines, and in the process, helping the real natural state shine through. Join the Great Arkansas Cleanup. Go to keeparkansasbeautiful.com to find out how you can help keep Arkansas clean and green. A message from this station, the Arkansas Broadcasters Association, and the Keep Arkansas Beautiful Commission.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Clear to partly cloudy sky tonight. An overnight low will drop down into the upper 20s. Lots of sunshine Tuesday. Our high right around 55. Tuesday night, partly to mostly cloudy. An overnight low will drop down into the mid-30s. Wednesday, clouds. Some scattered showers. Our high will be approaching 50 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Western Arkansas Counseling. Help a veteran today. Call 1-800-542-1031.
It's fast. It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Because this is a proud damn state.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
You can actually feel Razorback Stadium shaking underneath our feet right now.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Get your celebration on. The Razorbacks take a bite out of the Baylor Bears.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Second hour here on Halftime on this Tuesday, and go right to the phones where national college football writer Dennis Dodd joins us. Dennis, in his 23rd year covering college football at CBS Sports, goes all the way back to the days when it was known as CBSSportsline.com. Dennis, thanks for your time today and all the work that you're doing heading into coaching change season and the playoff championship and the Heisman. I know there's a lot going on, so thanks for your time. How are you today?
I'm good. You're bringing up some old school stuff. Wow. CBS Sportsline? I forgot that.
Well, that was like one of my
23 years ago, yeah.
That was one of my first sports websites that I remember getting onto right around the same time CNN SI was a thing. So, yes, those were the early days of the Internet.
You know who invested in that originally?
Who?
Joe Namath, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan.
We're
among the investors, yeah.
Wow.
No kidding. I had no idea about that. But they weren't just great athletes. We knew they were very, very smart businessmen, too. And bringing you on was probably part of that. So I got to thank you because your reporting yesterday basically confirmed what all Razorback fans expected since week 2 of the season when Arkansas's defense shut down the air raid in Mississippi State, and certainly after the 6-interception performance against Ole Miss. We took a lot of calls in the weeks after those games where fans were expecting that there would be other programs coming after Barry Odom. I think they expected in some cases that would be as a head coach. But I guess it's no surprise you get a big spotlighted program like Texas that's looking at him as a defensive coordinator. But it really just seemed, Dennis, to confirm what a lot of Arkansas fans felt for the last couple of months.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a very good defensive coordinator. I go back to when he was a player. I knew him when he was a player coming in at Missouri, where he committed to Missouri before going under the knife to repair a knee in high school. I mean, that's how desperate Missouri was, and that's how committed he was to come to Missouri because they'd shown faith in him. And then obviously longtime ties with Gary Pinkel and coming back in 2015 having the number 6 defense in the country for a team that went, I think, 5-7 that year. But, all those things you mentioned about this year at Arkansas, you look at the numbers are about the same as 2019, but it was the big plays. You mentioned the 6 interception game and stuff like that. So they lined up better, let's put it that way, for Arkansas. And he's not the only one. Sark's looking at a bunch of guys that I just posted. We're getting ready to post another story on it today.
So, I mean, is there any previous relationship with Sark that Barry has, or any connection to the University of Texas? We always look for those things. You know, he's got this great friendship and relationship with Sam Pittman. Seems to really like living in Fayetteville and being, the D.C. here with the Razorbacks. But what is it about Texas? Or is it just the fact that there's a lot of money in Texas and the Longhorns are just one of those programs?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be an upgrade for his career, and he wants to be a head coach again. And if he can get things going at Arkansas and Texas defensively, and we know the pockets are just about limitless at Texas. I'm sure the money's good there. I don't know of a previous relationship. Obviously Barry being in the SEC, Arkansas, I thought did a heck of a job defensively in that game where they decided to take away the long pass, played that 33 zone in the back where they basically set a layer of 3 guys and did. And Mac Jones had his worst game of his of his season, and so did Devontae Smith, but they still lost by 49. But I thought it was a good scheme.
Well, and so I think we all understand Barry Odom's a great defensive coordinator, would be a good hire for Texas. But here's the question. They went after Will Muschamp first.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Steve Sarkisian the answer at Texas where Tom Herman was not?
Yeah, I don't know if I have the answer to that. I mean, the answer, I kind of hope I wrote it over the weekend was, you know, if you're going to decide to change coaches and someone woke up one day at Texas 3 weeks after they gave Tom Herman a very tepid vote of confidence and decided to make a change. Okay, you're going to make a change. All right, who do you get? Nick Saban's off the board. They screwed that up a few years ago. Nick Saban's not going. So the hottest guy, the biggest, best component of Alabama right now is Steve Sarkisian as an offensive play caller. Now, I understand that he looks a lot like Tom Herman 4 years ago. Flavor of the week, as a mentor. In the case of Herman, Urban Meyer. In the case of Alabama, it's Nick Saban. And Pete Carroll before that. Well referenced. He does, he's had personal problems, and people with substance abuse will live with that for the rest of their life, unless they don't. So they're buying into that. But if you're going to do all that, that's about the best you can do. Now, we can have an argument about whether they should have done it, but who else are you going to get if you're Texas right now? Matt Campbell at Iowa State isn't going. Neither is Luke Fickell. So you go with the hottest coordinator at the time.
Dennis Dodd joining us here on Halftime. Dennis, we had a lot of our listeners this morning after we read your report yesterday, and obviously this morning discussing it even further with Barry Odom possibly moving to growing to Texas. Several of our listeners wanted to say, is this a lateral move for him? Is this just going across enemy lines and going to Texas? What says you? Like, a lot of our fans kind of think that he should stay put here in Arkansas. That's not a lateral move, but
our fans hate Texas.
Our fans hate Texas too, as well. But like, what says you? Is this a lateral move for him, or is this just being quite simple and blunt with it? Texas is just a better job than Arkansas.
Yeah, clearly it's an upgrade for Barry Odom. There are a few places that it wouldn't be going to Texas at all. In terms of money, in terms of prestige, in terms of a jumping off point, in terms of where the programs are right now. Texas isn't in the gutter. They just went 7-3. They can't beat Oklahoma, and they haven't won a championship since 2009. Those are all real-world problems for Texas. But it's clearly an upgrade for a coordinator like Barry Odom at this point in his career.
Let's just assume, just for the sake of this question, because I want to get your thoughts on this as well. Let's just assume Barry Odom does leave and heads to Texas. Who do you think Sam Pittman and company should target as their next defensive coordinator?
Oh, gosh. I don't even know if I'm qualified for that. I thought that just staying in the SEC in terms of an upgrade, I thought Zach Arnett did a heck of a job at Mississippi State this year. He's only – I think he's only 38. He's a disciple of Rocky Long, who is one of the best unknown defensive minds in the country. He retired and then came back as I think he's an analyst or some sort of consultant at New Mexico at Danny Gonzalez. I think that's the case right now. Zach Arnett's a budding star. But they may have to contend with Texas for that. I think Texas, I think, is going to go after Zach Arnett, and may have, in fact, already interviewed him. So I think that's one name that just comes to mind. I don't keep a roll of Texas. I'm not one of those guys who keeps a Rolodex of hot coordinators.
Sure, absolutely. And also, last thing before I pitch it back over to Phil, you've seen all the rumors here recently, particularly with Urban Meyer moving on to the NFL. Yeah. You've seen different rumors with Pat Fitzgerald, Matt Campbell. Of those three or others, who are some coaches, college coaches right now you think could make the transition from the collegiate ranks to the professional ranks?
A lot of smoke about Dan Mullen at Florida. Not the best of years for him on or off the field. A lot of conduct problems. And he's got I think it's the assistant general manager at the Jets, Rex Hogan, in his corner. who was with him may have been at Florida. Don't hold me to that. I can't remember, but they're friends. And, it's just an upgrade. The guys want to test themselves. Sarkisian could get back. If he succeeds at Texas, does he go back to the NFL? I don't know. But, you've got the main ones. I think the main question now is whether Urban Meyer takes the $12 million offer reportedly from the Jags. And really right now it's just got to be between him and his wife and that situation. We've got that cyst on his brain. And can he deal with that health-wise? That's always been the case. The guy can coach. I know he wants to coach. But I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago who works with him, and he said if he goes anywhere, it's going to be the NFL. And I thought that was curious because here's one of the, a control-freak coach going to the NFL where these guys are brands unto themselves. They have a very powerful players union behind them. And what is Urban Meyer kind of known for? In his resume, when you mention him, you have to mention the lack of discipline sometimes with his team. So I think it'd be interesting to see how he matches up with that.
Do you think the grind of recruiting has anything to do with that for Meyer, that if you're going to jump back into the college game, you're back in that 24/7 recruiting cycle that never, ever stops? And, the NFL, you don't have to do that. You have general managers that sign and draft, and you're part of that. And college coaches have total control of their programs, but still, man, that is a serious grind. Not to say that being a head coach in the NFL is not, but I just wonder if the recruiting sometimes is a bit much, and leap into the NFL is a way to get away from that.
Yeah, think about this. I talked to a former head coach who had gone to the NFL as an assistant, and he told me he loved it so much because it was all ball, no recruiting, and the hours were sensible, like 9 to 6. There's guys like Gruden that break down film all night, but it was a normal life. And all these college coaches can't like recruiting. There are some that are better at it than others. Steve Spurrier despised it as one of the all-time great coaches, but he didn't like recruiting. I think that's a big one where you don't have to worry about grades. You basically don't have to worry about conduct off the field. That's going to take care of itself because these guys, this is their living. And 99% of them don't act up because they know this is their life and this is going to take care of them for the rest of their life. So, no, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. And in Dan Mullen's case, the word show cause does not follow you to the NFL if that's the direction that he goes.
Good point.
Just a couple more things before we let you. I want to get your overall. I know you watch a ton of football and we have to write this and that about a lot of other programs. And I wonder if you watched Arkansas much at all this year, and what you thought about the transition from Chad Morris to Sam Pittman in Coach Pitt's first year.
Yeah, I loved it. I didn't watch a lot. I watched a lot of the Alabama game, but clearly they became a story during the season because of the overall improvement just in the program, offense, defense, everything, coaching. Sam Pittman, it looked like there was a bidding war at the end between him and Missouri and Jimmy Sexton and Eli Drinkowitz. And Missouri won on Eli Drinkowitz, so Arkansas got Sam Pittman. But Sam Pittman, no previous head coaching experience with a career assistant, well-respected, I thought, really did well for himself. And I thought all that talk for a long time about him being SEC Coach of the Year was well warranted. So I do think Arkansas is in good hands now.
Heisman tonight, is it Devontae Smith's trophy to lose?
Yeah, I do. I did a straw poll yesterday and talked to about 25 of my cohorts and got their ballots, and he was the runaway winner. And remember, the voting ended December 24th on Christmas Eve. So this is before he tied all these Rose Bowl records and did it again. And he would be the first receiver since Desmond Howard in 91 to win it. And I think there have only been 4 ever that were known primarily as pass catchers, 3 in the modern era, along with Tim Brown and Johnny Rodgers at Nebraska in 72. So that tells you how valuable the receiver position has become in football. And he's very deserving, very humble kid.
Well, we'll let you go, Dennis. Really appreciate you hopping on with us and going a little long. We'll be following your work certainly this week and see what happens with Texas and Barry Odom. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Got it. That's Dennis Dodd. And by the way, he is a Missouri grad, and so he was a student at Mizzou when Barry Odom played there. I think he definitely has an understanding of Barry Odom.
Definitely does.
As a football person overall. You get a great understanding of RV show pricing at Wheels RV. This pricing is arriving early at Wheels RV in Springdale. They want to invite you to skip the lines and crowds this year. Shop the industry's best brands at Northwest Arkansas's premier RV dealer, Wheels RV in Springdale, 5 miles west off Exit 72 on 412 in Springdale, also at wheelsrv.net. Ask them about a lifetime warranty, RV storage, and a mobile service shuttle. It's Wheels RV in Springdale. Stay tuned. Right back.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
Your home for every Razorback football game.
College to midfield, the 40, the 30, College at the 20, to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Arkansas!
As you can tell, this means a lot, you know.
Only on ESPN 95.3.
Kraft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device. World of Wireless has moved just a few miles east, next to Frank Rowe Furniture in Barling. RV show pricing is arriving early at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV wants to invite you to skip the lines and the crowds this year and shop the industry's best brands at Northwest Arkansas's premier RV dealer. And with a lifetime warranty, RV storage, and a mobile service shuttle, owning a new RV has never been easier. RV show pricing beginning now at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Happy New Year from Frank Rowe Furniture. Frank Rowe Furniture thanks all of our customers for your business in 2020. We wish everyone a prosperous new year and may God bless each and every one of you. At Frank Rowe Furniture, we strive to please our customers and carry as many made in the USA brands as possible. We are family owned and have served the River Valley since 1997. We will be praying that everyone has a blessed new year in 2021. Happy New Year from Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself, that's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is ESPN 95.3.
5 to shoot. Sills way out on the floor, right wing. Deep three, good from Desi. Wow! Sills has got 16.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
We're going to get into college basketball with John Gasaway in about 10 minutes. Arkansas, Tennessee tomorrow. We'll get into that pretty heavily tomorrow. Smackdown, let's quickly run through our standings for the game day picks.
Ooh,
and,
yes, sir.
See what we've got at stake for the college football championship game. You haven't figured out your prop bets yet, have you?
That's going to be coming up this weekend.
Okay.
Well, no, we'll get that. Well, let's see. No, I'll have it ready Friday because we'll go over. I'll try to have them ready.
Well, the championship game's Monday, so you don't have to have everything by Friday.
Maybe I'll have, like, if I have 10 prop bets, maybe I'll have 5 just to wet the palate of what you two can do some research on.
Well, I like my palate to be wet.
Everybody does. So you've heard the punishments. You know what's at stake here. I've got to watch The Exorcist if I lose. Matty T has to watch a weekend of NFL playoffs if he loses, which by the time he would get around to it should be decent football. It's not the wild card.
It wouldn't be super playoff weekend, which is 6 games.
Yeah.
I don't know if Matty T could make it through 6 NFL games in a weekend.
Maybe we should upgrade your punishment that instead of a weekend, you just have to sit and watch the Nickelodeon version of an NFL broadcast.
Oh, gosh.
It's even better. But hold on, that's during wild card weekend, unfortunately, isn't it?
Oh, crap, it is during it. Darn it. Maybe we could record it. We could just make – anyway, that's a different argument. At least then, I mean, yes, it's a punishment, but at least you get SpongeBob in the same –
I was going to say, the first step I'd have to do before I could watch any of those games is subscribe to a television package that includes all those games because I currently don't even have access to that.
I've got some ideas of how we're going to go about this. But if that's the case, there's that for him. I have to watch The Exorcist, and then you have to refer to foul lines and foul poles for the whole baseball season.
I feel pretty good about my situation right now, but I'm only 6 ahead of Matty T, so anything can happen with these prop bets.
You never know. It could happen. So I had another great week of picks here. So the score, we know what. I'll just run through these scores real quick for what happened.
No, don't worry about what happened. You don't have to go through that. Just give the scoreboard, and then let's figure out.
Phil has 93. Jenkins has 91. Matty T has 87.
So I mean, this could go back because you were way behind.
I was way behind, and then I got on a hot streak.
This could forever be known as the SmackDown comeback.
It very well could be.
Kind of like the opposite of the Montreal screw job that you like to talk about.
Absolutely it is. Had a good week. I had a really good week of picks here. Matty T also had a good one as well.
And I did not.
And you did not. So we're gaining ground on you. Where Matty T messed up, which he self-admitted it, is that he went with you on that. Was it the Christmas party that you was that the one, or was it Thanksgiving? What was the picks that you?
I think that was Christmas.
Was it Christmas? You went with Phil on picks, tried to screw me, and it backfired.
I screwed myself.
You screwed yourself. It backfired.
So we're going to pick the championship game on Monday, and there will be a series of prop bets.
What do you like? What's a good number? 10? If I could come up with 10 prop, like the game and 9 prop bets, that way you got a 10-point swing.
I'm trying to figure out a number here that ensures that I don't lose.
I would
almost 5, just 5 only, because I'm 6 ahead of Matty T. Then that works for me. Because there's no way in hell I'm saying foul line and foul pole during the baseball
You better
season.
get these prop bets right, so we'll have some fun with that. But, yeah, it's going to be this coming Monday. I guess that's when we'll make our final picks.
I'm so excited, too. Really, I should just be more nervous than anything because I'm on a 2-year losing streak on halftime for game day picks. But without Ty Richardson here, and Ty, by the way, I don't think he ever kept an accurate score of our game day picks. I think he lied throughout the entire thing.
That's
for those of you who are doing the big stop the steal thing, that was the real steal. It was Ty Richardson the last 2 years, okay?
Harry Dog and Fable texting and said SmackDown, just make them watch the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's painful
enough. That's painful enough. You make you watch that last series when the game was literally right in front of us and we don't challenge a play or recover a fumble.
JT just wants to make me, sweat and everything. He wants me to say foul pole, foul line. That's probably what most listeners do because you know how I am about that and how I went through the last baseball season. We played, I think I did 7 games. I didn't say foul line or foul pole once on purpose.
What, for those that aren't, what do you refer to it as?
The line, the direction of the line. There's either the first base line, the right field line, the third base line, the left field line.
So there's no foul line or foul pole.
When the ball hits the freaking pole, it can either be the left field pole, or the fair pole. There, I said it.
But it's God, I hope you lose. Just to see your guttural reaction of
You'll
that.
know if I won or if I lost. If I lost, I'm taking Tuesday off.
One place that I've got in mind that if Matty T wants to lose this, we can go watch NFL football, Matty T, and that's at Buffalo Wild Wings.
No, I'd be all about that.
We can take advantage of their new bowl bundle that they have in place. So if you lose, we can spend $39.99. That gets us 20 traditional wings and 20 boneless rings and large fries.
Then what are you going to order for yourself?
I'm sharing with you, my friend.
Oh.
Is that okay?
I guess so.
That's only at Buffalo Wild Wings. So make sure you go there, celebrate the win with Buffalo Wild Wings. You can order online or dine in now. You can find locations in Fort Smith, Conway, Sherwood, Little Rock, and in Jonesboro. That's only at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Roar.
Amazing. Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen, as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
Football and buffalo wings just go together, and when it comes to the best buffalo wings in town, there's only one place. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Celebrate every college and NFL win with beat-ups. Feed your crew with the Blitz Bundle for $39.99. You can tackle our mouth-watering wings and try our 4 new sauces. Always dine-in, always takeout available. Get your football on. It's game day at Buffalo Wild Wings. Locations in Little Rock, Fort Smith, Sherwood, Jonesboro, and Conway. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Every day, 22 of our heroes take their own life. The effects of military service can be too much.
I'll cover you. I'll cover you. Let's move.
You were ready to fight for them in war.
I got you. I got you.
Are you ready to fight for them now? If you know a veteran that could use a little help, call 1-800-542-1031 today.
In sports, success is measured in the number of points scored, in games won, and in championships earned. At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, in being there when you need us. In fact, 9 out of 10 people surveyed with a claim would recommend Shelter to a friend. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter Agent Phil Hicks about a free insurance review.
Hey, Tommy here for Bobby Gregory and the team at Mr. Auto Glass. They've been around for 32 years, and there's a reason why. It's customer service. They take care of you no matter what your need, whether it's replacing the glass in your automobile, your truck, your bus, your heavy equipment, or repairing one of those nasty old rock chips you picked up driving down the road. They even offer mobile service on site right here in the River Valley. Most jobs completed the same day. Call Bobby and the team for your appointment. 782-4441. That's 782-4441 for Mr. Auto Glass.
Whether you've learned to work from home, manned a testing site in a parking lot, tried to fulfill pickup orders, cooked food for curbside pickup, or stayed awake all hours wondering how you're going to make payroll, if you've made it this far into 2020, you've got true grit. And it's time that you had gear that performs as hard as you do. We've got the gear you need to finish strong in 2020. Let's cross this finish line together at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery for both lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. TGI Fridays is taking your safety seriously, following every guideline. Enjoy Fridays favorites like appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, salads, all the great Fridays, signature entrees, kids meals, and great desserts. TGI Fridays, now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery. Call 479-484-0906. That's 484-0906. Or order online at Fridays.com. Your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers and Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3.
comes Ole Miss. 1st and 10 at their own 25. Corral, play fake, going to roll to his right. Fires, and it's picked off. Catalon at the 35. Oh, my goodness, he's going to score. Touchdown, Arkansas. Catalon, 33 yards on the interception return. Corral threw it right to him, and Catalon was a blur into the end zone.
Have a smart speaker? Just say play ESPN Arkansas to listen to halftime anywhere you go.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
All right, the net rankings came out yesterday. The initial net rankings of the college basketball season. The SEC has 5 teams ranked in the top 25. That includes Arkansas right now at 23rd. LSU 22, Florida 17, Mizzou 11, Tennessee is 3, and that's even after their loss to Alabama. Let's get into some SEC basketball with John Gasaway, ESPN college basketball reporter. We've had him on the show a couple of times before. John, Happy New Year. How you doing?
I'm good. Happy New Year to you. I guess this is we're getting close to the last day where we can say that.
But, yeah, I meant yesterday to be the last day, but since we've had a couple of guests that we don't usually have, we just went with that
I don't want to be that guy who's wandering around February still saying that. But January 5th, I think it's still fair game. Happy New Year, everyone.
Okay, then tomorrow we'll stop. You'll be the last guy we do that with. I feel like we saw the real nature of college basketball over the past week in the SEC. Just looking at the 2 teams that'll be on the court tomorrow at Thompson-Boling Arena. Arkansas and Tennessee roll through the non-conference schedule, have incredibly impressive road victories to open up SEC play, and then lay complete eggs at home in the next game. Maybe it was less expected for Tennessee to lose at home to Alabama, but for Arkansas to shoot 26% felt fluky. It just felt like that's the real nature of watching big-time college basketball.
Yeah, those were surprising outcomes. They were a couple of losses coming off of big wins, and give credit to the winning teams, I suppose. In Arkansas's case, Missouri looked tough, and Jeremiah Tillman just wore out the Hogs. He was too much to handle on the inside, and Moses Moody looks great on paper, at least in the box score, 18 points, and but he was 0 of 7 inside the arc. He needed a lot of shots to get those points. So hopefully, from Razorback fans' standpoint, they can bounce back in this next game, and certainly nothing like a road win at what might still be the favorite to win the SEC. Nothing like a road win at Tennessee to get things back on the right track.
Is there anything for Tennessee to worry about after scoring season low 63 at home against Alabama, or is this just an idea if you think it could just be a bump on the road to a possible dominant season?
The concern with Tennessee is that they might not turn out to be such a great shooting team, and that was reflected in that loss. They were just 4 of 21 from beyond the arc, and I don't anticipate any problems with this defense, certainly, and that will be a challenge for Arkansas in this next game. But if there's a concern for the Volunteers going forward, it would be what happens when teams are able to meet on equal terms with them and force them to make some outside shots. I'm not sure that Rick Barnes' team has shown that they can do that yet. Maybe Arkansas can capitalize on that in this game coming up.
Yeah, you even mentioned, though, that Tennessee's big strength is defense and strength overall, rebounding, being dominant in the paint. And that's where it feels like Arkansas is weakest, is playing around the rim. I think they're a decent rebounding team, but without Justin Smith, you lost your best rebounder. Without Justin Smith, you lost your best banger. And it feels like he would have been or could have been the most valuable player for Arkansas against a team like Tennessee.
Right. I don't want to read too much into just 80 minutes of SEC action, one of which, after all, was a great road win. But just by the numbers, your point is a valid one so far. It certainly has not been disproven. Arkansas is not looking great on the defensive glass to this point. And Eric Musselman knows his way around defense. That was his calling card at Nevada, certainly. And offensive rebounding, that's more of a coach's option or more of a scheme kind of thing. But everybody wants to limit the other team to one shot. And so far, that has to be at least flagged or highlighted as a potential concern for the Razorbacks. That's something they're going to have to show that they can do in an SEC where the opposing teams often love to crash the offensive glass.
Well, John, I mean, you're a stat guy. I know that. I mean, don't you feel like shooting 26.8% from the field, going 8 of 30 on layups, has a fluky feeling to it? Like there's a legit idea that Saturday's performance, well, you'll give credit to Mizzou, it could have just been a fluke.
It was plausibly a combination of a fluke against what is legitimately a good defense. Missouri, they've got wins not only over Arkansas now, but also over Oregon and Illinois. So the laptops are still skeptical when it comes to the Tigers, but they just keep winning games against quality opponents. That being said, the numbers that you put out there, that's not going to happen game in, game out for a team the quality of Arkansas. This is a team, I'm plugging my work here at ESPN, but pretty soon I'll be ramping up Bubble Watch, and this is a team that I expect to be talking about at some length when you're confronted with the Razorbacks. I expect them to be in the mix for an NCAA bid. Maybe they'll exceed expectations, just have it locked down, and I won't even have to talk about them at all. But I anticipate it being a little more suspenseful than that, not only for Arkansas, but for several teams in the SEC this year.
John Gasaway of ESPN here with us on Halftime. John, you brought up the different teams that could be on the bubble watch or just kind of maybe a stressful look into it. I want to ask about one team before I want to also ask about the NCAA tournament. But before I do that, Kentucky, 2-6 start. They got their first SEC win of the schedule, but struggled mightily. And, I mean, we take pleasure in making fun of Kentucky, as many people do. But, John, they had a brutal non-conference schedule leading into this season. So what's your view of Kentucky? Do you think they can get it turned around and maybe make a push to try to hit that NCAA tournament bubble, or is this season as good as gone for Kentucky?
Yeah, I actually sent out a screenshot from, I can't remember now if I was watching the SEC network or one of the ESPN families of networks, but there was a graphic saying, SEC, 13 teams at or above 500, and then in much smaller lettering it said only Kentucky is below 500. So this is a very strange season, to say the least. They had some bad losses, but they also lost some one possession games, including against the likes of Kansas and Louisville. So I guess the glass half full version is, hey, they could be 4-5 instead of, or 4-4 instead of 2-6. But this is not as good a Kentucky team as we expected. I think they will still be at or above 500 in SEC play. Other things being equal, in a normal season where there's not a pandemic and there's a normal number of games, 500 in the major conference would put you into the bubble discussion. But yeah, they're 2-6, and the net rankings came out, and Kentucky debuted in triple digits, which is a nice way of saying, forget about it. So they've got work to do. They can start with a home win over Vanderbilt, and we'll see what we get from the Wildcats this season, but it's been a rough start.
That's crazy. Triple digits for the net rankings for Kentucky. That is just, it's 20. Well, I guess we can't say it's 2020 because now we're 2021. So big news coming out yesterday and coming out and more of it today. The NCAA tournament, the men's tournament specifically, being housed completely in Indiana and Indianapolis with the surrounding arenas that'll do it like a bubble format. John, I think they had to make a move like this just to, A, get the tournament played, but B, for the survival of the NCAA moving forward.
Yeah, and, my non-negotiable demand personally going into this was that if we can do this safely, or we think we can try, that we go for a full-size NCAA tournament with 68 teams. I'm delighted to see the NCAA shooting for that particular target. Again, I trust that we'll stay on top of whether we can really do this safely for everybody involved, and if we think we can, then I am just happy as can be that they're going to try for the full-size thing. It would have been easy, I think, to say in this of all seasons we're going to do 32 or even 16, and I would have understood it if there were compelling, public health reasons to do it that way. It would not, from the much less important sports perspective, that would not be an NCAA tournament, particularly with 16 teams. I mean, the whole beauty of the thing is, are we going to see UMBC beat Virginia? That is the essence of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. And fingers crossed, we might get a shot to see something along those lines. And if it all 67 games take place in one state, and that's the safest way to do it, I am all for it. So hope it comes off.
Well, before I pass back over to Phil, I brought this idea up when the rumors are circulating of that this is going to be in a one-city destination, and we've kind of talked about the financial side of it, where the how much money they've lost during this pandemic. Is this something, like a one-city or like a one-city NCAA tournament? Is this something in your mind that the NCAA should maybe look to in the future? Because in my mind, John, if this is something that works, which, I mean, I know it will, and once we're post-pandemic and different things like that, I feel like cities will bid more to get the whole tournament in their town. And I shared this idea with Phil. Obviously, we love the coast-to-coast coverage where some teams are out west, some teams are south, east, everywhere. But I see some positives in doing a one-city NCAA tournament, particularly on the financial side.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a big positive for the city that gets it. I think that would be kind of cool. I expect that if the NCAA said that they were going to do that, they would get some pushback. I expect that the first year that the winning bid was from a city on the West Coast, you would hear a lot of hollering from a lot of teams saying we have to travel all the way out to the West Coast. I would find that hollering somewhat ironic, because those same teams would not expect there to be hollering if the winning bid were from an East Coast city. It's just as far for the West Coast teams to go in that event. So I'm not sure we'll get to see it, but I like the NCAA best when it is nimble and experimental the way they are, when they try rule changes in the NIT. I think that is their best instinct, and they're showing that by trying to get a tournament, a full-size tournament in during the pandemic. And if that translates into a new way of doing this, with all due respect to Indianapolis, which I love and I actually lived in for years, there are other regions that could do the same thing. There are other places in the United States with a lot of basketball courts, and maybe that would be the way to go, to hold 67 games all in one spot. I'm up for it. We'll see what the future brings.
John, we'll leave it at that. Appreciate your time. I know you've got big things coming up this year with book Miracles on Hardwood coming out in March, and as the basketball season continues, we'd love to have you on again if you could.
That sounds great, and thank you for the book plug. I appreciate it. Love to come on anytime.
We'll talk more about the book as we head towards the date of publication. That's John Gasaway, National College Basketball Reporter, ESPN.com, and we appreciate his time. Well, there's some interesting stuff going on the Twitter machine right now. Razorback defensive players are tweeting about Barry Odom in a very positive way. Jalen Catalon, in fact, says, "Unfinished business, run it back," with a picture of him next to Arkansas defensive coordinator Barry Odom. This makes you think that he is not going to be a former Arkansas defensive coordinator. Our lengthy statewide nightmare might be coming to an end. We'll wrap the show up after this.
Achieve your health and wellness goals in 2021 with a fantasy spa or a complete endless pool fitness system from Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. There's no better way to start a new year out than with a spa or a great place to get your exercise every day with an endless pool fitness system. And the experts are at Burton Pools and Spas. Hot tubs start at $28.95 and there's 28 different models to choose from. And I love what I read about the endless pool fitness systems. Great way to get your exercise in. Boundless fitness, year-round swimming, and you can get swimming, which is great exercise in your own backyard every day. And when it comes from Burton's, you can count on delivery, complete setup, and total installation from Burton's. Read more online at burtonpools.com or stop in Fort Smith or in Springdale in Northwest Arkansas for all of the details. New spas and endless pool fitness systems from Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and always online at burtonpools.com. Happy New Year from Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A Cut Above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, a Cut Above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping, leaf removal, post and pre-emergent, power washing, and any other yard chore you can think of.
Call or text today at 479-719-5605. More than just a mowing service, they're a Cut Above.
719-5605.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week, both on the heated patio and the cozy dining room. River City Bistro is locally owned and open weekdays 11 to 8, Saturdays 10 to 8, and Sundays 10 to 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
We're now living in uncharted waters with the spread of COVID-19. With the partial closing of a lot of businesses, sadly, some will soon try and turn your possessions into their possessions. Guardtronic has been providing security for homes and businesses for over 60 years. Whether you need a camera system to keep an eye on things or a complete home security system, call Guardtronic 479-785-2323 or go online to guardtronic.com. We have so many worries these days, safety should not be one of them. License E50.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery for both lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. TGI Fridays is taking your safety seriously, following every guideline. Enjoy Fridays favorites like appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, salads, all the great Fridays, signature entrees, kids meals, and great desserts. TGI Fridays, now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery. Call 479-484-0906. That's 484-0906. Or order online at Fridays.com. Your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers and Fort Smith.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Costello back to throw, short over the middle. That's what they're going to do. They catch it, lateral it to Peyton. Peyton across the far sideline, out of bounds. It's over. Arkansas wins the ball game. The streak ends in Starkville tonight as the Hogs knock off the 16th ranked team in the country, 21-14, our final score. It's a happy group of Razorbacks. Sam Pittman gets his first win as the Razorback head coach.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and SmackDown.
I'm putting those in there just for you two because the smile it brings to y'all's face is priceless.
and it occasionally brings me out to do the Weird Al lyrics.
You were doing
which
pretty
I
good.
won't do on the show. Just during
come on,
commercial breaks
come on,
for you
Maddie. He
guys.
should grace it with us, don't he?
It was great. We were listening to it during the.
It really
break
was.
there. This is when I explained to SmackDown. Not all Weird Al songs are parodies. Direct parodies. This is more of a parody of the style of Devo.
Right.
But original.
How old is this? You've told me this. Is this 80s?
This has got to be like 85. I'm guessing.
85, I think. It's the album is called "Dare to Be Stupid."
What was the one you karaoke'd? You told us about when we did like a Weird Al trivia deal.
Like which one, man? I've done like 7 of them.
Okay.
Did you do One More Minute?
1 More Minute.
You told the story of
Living
you
with a
doing one on
Hernia,
stage somewhere.
Eat It.
Living
Think
with
I'm
a
a clone now. I've done a bunch of them.
Maybe that should be your punishment.
Perform Weird Al?
He wants to do that.
For me, man. I do that in my sleep. Come on. So it looks like another player has put out a tweet. This is an incoming recruit, Jermaine Hamilton Jordan. Says, looking back at the rumors, like, what? Let's run it back. I think Barry Odom is staying. He's got another photo of him with Barry Odom there, such as Jalen Catalon's tweet. And so we have, I think, there's nothing confirmed or anything like that, but various Twitter accounts that cover Texas, that cover Arkansas, all saying that it appears that Barry Odom is not going to be the Texas defensive coordinator, and I guess that means he's going to stay at Arkansas.
That's good news. And shout out to Nate in the 501. He sent us a text that just saw Odom coming back because I wasn't really surfing the Twitter yet, so did a quick Twitter search. So thanks, Nate, for the heads up with that. But yeah, you're seeing several different ones tweeted out right now. So
I love when the show gets to has a beginning and then an end that matches up with the beginning of the show.
We've done good.
Like you run the gamut. We did that yesterday, introing the show with will Grant Morgan win the Burlesworth Trophy, and by the end of the show, we had the answer. The answer
we call that
no.
going full circle.
And that's right. It's going full circle. It's a full circuit. Today we start the show with we started the show with that it's National Whipped Cream Day, and then we got into will Barry Odom be heading to Texas, and it looks like by the end of the show we have our answer, and it is no. Now, of course, this doesn't mean Barry Odom told Texas to get off his lawn. It might be the other way around, but no matter which way it happened, it's a good thing for Arkansas football.
And we'll never know. We'll never know what happened, but if you're going to go by what Twitter's saying, it's a good day to celebrate. And you hope that, obviously, with him staying, hopefully that means Sam Carter's going to stay. And I think now you turn your attention to making sure Kendall Browl stays, which – there hadn't been any rumors as far as I've heard that he's leaving.
No, I think he's staying.
And you kind of, if you want to tie it into the wide receiver coach hire,
working with him,
Houston. You hopefully, and if all angles point to that, you're keeping your OC and your DC, which you don't want to lose any coaches. Don't get me wrong, and you definitely didn't want to lose Justin Stepp or Jamil Walker if it comes to that. But it's a whole lot easier to replace them than it is to replace your OC and your DC.
Well, maybe there'll be some sort of a confirmation later on once we're off the air.
Maybe we need to get a Twitter picture from Sam Pittman of like them two walking. It was like
two of them taking their daily mid-afternoon walk.
Let's continue this. Let's run it back on the walk.
Barry Odom couldn't imagine taking a walk around the football stadium at 12 noon every day with Steve Sarkisian. That's what it's about.
In the middle of September in Texas.
Partner. That's like Fayetteville's a little bit warm that time of the year. Too.
Well, the humidity down in Austin, I'm sure, is just brutal.
All right, I got a couple get off my lawns. Don't worry about hitting the intro here. We've only got about 3 minutes left. I got one for the NHL, and this I guess will be the only time we talk hockey all year. The NHL, I love that the NHL had to get creative, and they have done so by having an entire all-Canada division. The North Division is going to be all Canada because the Canadian teams don't want to have to quarantine 2 weeks if they come back and forth over the border. So they're rejiggering the divisions for the NHL season, and they have sold sponsorships to the division names. I've never heard of this before. Like the last division names that got panned, the way that I think this will get panned, was remember when the Big Ten did the legends and the leaders?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. That was really an awful branding name. You would like to know the direction of the division, as far as I'm concerned. Though I loved when the NHL used to have, for me, the best names for any conferences or any divisions, when the Wales Conference had the Patrick and the Adams division, and the Campbell Conference had the Norris and the Smythe division. So to have the divisions named after a bank, an auto company, a credit card, and another bank or an insurance company just is less than sexy. My second get off my lawn is for this outrage over Doug Peterson yanking Jalen Hurts. Because honestly, who freaking cares? We're complaining about the actions of a head coach in the 17th week of a 4-11-1 football team. Now, people are lauding Joe Judge for his idea that we'll never do anything like that. We'll always try to. Do you think Joe Judge would care one freaking bit about what happened with the Eagles yesterday or the day before? Had the Giants not lost to the Cowboys earlier in the day, eliminating them from the playoffs? He's simply playing to his fans. He's simply playing to his players, and I'm not impressed with it. Tanking is a time-honored tradition. That's a fact. And I don't think that Doug Peterson put his players' health in jeopardy and the lives of their players in jeopardy. That was going over the top. Now, if there's Eagles players that are pissed at Peterson for making the quarterback change when he did, fine. They're the ones that put in all the hard work that week practicing. They're the ones that busted their butt during the game to be within 3 points in the final quarter, only to see your coach pull the quarterback. And if you're an Eagles fan, why does it matter? You got a better draft spot. You moved up 3 spots to 6th in the draft. That might get you a better player than you would have had at 9th or 10th. Maybe Peterson loses the standings amongst his players because of this, but it's faux outrage about the sanctity of the regular season and putting his players in jeopardy. That's not true. I rooted for my favorite baseball team to lose every game this year so that they would end up with the number 1 pick, and because it made for fun baseball radio. Seriously, though, if you're a regular football fan, why the outrage over anything that happened with the Eagles the other day? It makes no sense. So get off my lawn. And that's it for the show today.
We did good today.
I think we did. We've made it from the gamut of are you going to lose Barry Odom to apparently you're not.
See you tomorrow.
Attention high school seniors. Are you involved in welding classes? If so, United Welding